Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to the Bat Cave. Today we will be discussing how to make Call of Duty more enjoyable as we are approaching this new game. Every day we are one day closer to its release, just as we are one day closer to dying, just as we are one day closer to getting laid, either again or for the first time. Now, a lot of what sucks the fun out of this game at times for me is hopeless situations and being thrown into them. I think this game needs a mercy rule. You know how many matches I've been thrown into where winning or even accomplishing anything or having any fun at all is just impossible? You know, it's those matches I've talked about before where you join the session in progress, the match is halfway over, the enemy has swarm, dogs, VSAT, and a lodestar in the air, and 9 times out of 10 you just quit that match before any of those stupid high score streaks can shit all over your face. Frankly, I wouldn't mind if they just took those high score streaks out of the game altogether. Lodestar, VTOLs, Dog Swarm. These are just streaks that ruin a match. You know, like I've said before, 11 players in the lobby suffer so one camper can have his minute of glory. If the Swarm, the Lodestar, or whatever gets called in on you, either you rage quit or you have to camp inside a room and do nothing while you hide from it. Meanwhile, if somebody on your team calls in such a high score streak, you wander around the map helplessly bored like you joined a custom match by yourself until that score streak is over. And by then, the enemy team is rage quit, so you're basically not playing the game anymore, even though you are. Not to mention it really drains your score per minute. But I know they're not going to take high streaks out of the game, because then Spoiled Brats would stop dishing out money, and it turns out Spoiled Brats are actually the most high value customer. But what they could do is implement a mercy rule. If at halftime in a match, 5 minutes into the game, there's nobody left on the opposing team that was there when the match started, right? So everyone who started the match on that team has rage quit. The only folks left on the team joined late, and they have less than half of your team's score. That game should end right then and there. The announcer guy at the end comes on and says something brutal like, you know, we sent them home with their tails between their legs. And the winning team gets an extra fat match XP bonus. Because I've been on teams like that before, you know, where, you know, we meet up on Huppet and it's 2 KD players only, and what we basically do is wait for one person to get a VSAT, and then we all use that VSAT to get our VSATs, and then we use the never-ending stream of VSATs to get Lodestars and Swarms, and oh my god, I'm gonna come in my pants just thinking about it. And so what happens is, by halftime, everyone who was on that team when the match started has left the game. They gave up after the third VSAT and second Lodestar, and I don't fucking blame them, because they literally might as well not even be playing the game. The only possible thing they can do is get killed. There's nothing else they can do in that game, because even if they escape the dogs and the Lodestar, there's still 6 2 KD players hunting them with a VSAT. And so after halftime, the only players on the enemy team are folks that have joined late. They've joined the session in progress. Unfortunately for them, it sucks dick for them, and generally they will leave immediately upon joining, right after they see the streaks in the air and the score of the game. And they may, you know, or maybe they stick around for a couple deaths, I don't know why, just to see if they can do something, I guess. I don't know, they're stupid, but they quit too eventually. And so for the second half of the game, you know, me and my guys will just be cycling through our streaks. We all have Lodestars and are just waiting for our turn to call them in. And meanwhile, the enemy team is literally just recycling a bunch of players again and again. You know, 6 new people join the game. They quit within 15 seconds. 15 seconds later, 6 brand new people join the game. By the end of that match, like 50 people have taken a loss, which is like kind of awesome. Like, I love that people are suffering and that they're sad and that other people are having a bad time on this game besides me. But the problem is, nowadays, I'm one of those 6 brand new people who get shit on. And so, you know, and it gets to the point where it's like, even if they capped all 3 flags for the rest of the match, they still, I'm talking about domination, but this can be applied to other game types. Even if they capped all 3 flags and were dominating us for the rest of the match, they still wouldn't be able to overcome the massive lead we have. It is literally impossible to win. So they take a death or 2 and then take a loss and quit. It is literally impossible to win. Why not have a mercy rule for that situation? And frankly, it's even boring to be on the winning team in this scenario, because we don't really get to play the game anymore. It's like starting a custom match and playing by yourself. You know, except every now and then you get a turn with the Lodestar, and then generally you'll get like 3 or 4 kills out of that, you know, only. Because again, people are only staying in the game for 10 seconds at a time, so generally there aren't going to be any targets to hit. And of course that shits all over your score per minute, because ironically you're forced to play under 200 score per minute just because there aren't any points left to score in the game. So I think they should just skip the pathetic second half of the match where fucking, 10, 20 people are recycling into the enemy team, getting shit on and leaving. Or we're just recycling through high score streaks. Call it mercy and let everyone move on with their day. And the winning team gets, a extra match XP bonus reward. They should get something for being so dominant. It's the only rational thing to do. Now, obviously what you're going to say is, well, Batman, just don't play in these intense 2KD only parties anymore. Problem fixed. Well, look, I don't play in these kind of parties anymore. That shit's boring. It's for pussies. These days, I generally prefer to play alone. Because what's happened, and I knew this would be a problem from day one. In fact, you can go back and I made videos about it, is the competitive matchmaking is exacerbating the lag problem. Alright? What's happening is the competitive matchmaking system hates parties, and I think it might have been specifically designed to protect casual Randy BKs playing by themselves from parties, and it does this by making sure that your party always runs into another full party, right? Now, I don't have a problem with this specifically. I see the rationale behind it, and I know how stupid it can be when you're playing by yourself and you run into a party, because you just can't outplay teamwork, folks. But the problem is, because it's searching for other enemy parties, and because my stats and the stats of the two guys I generally play with are pretty high, there's a very narrow, specific kind of party it will match us up with, right? It won't stick us with anything other than a party of strong players. And I don't have a problem with that. I like a challenge. But there isn't just an infinite amount of 2KD parties out there. A lot of the time, it's not going to be able to find a strong party that is within our region, or anywhere close to our physical location. And the farther you are away from the people you are playing against, the harder it's going to be for the already terrible Black Ops lag compensation to synchronize your gameplay. We ran into a full party from Japan with Japanese emblems and names, and they're right there in game chat speaking Japanese, probably talking shit to us, but we don't even, we don't understand what they're saying. And it's like, there's no possible way it's going to be able to balance out the time it takes EM waves from Japan to travel to a host in California, or vice versa, or maybe the host is in Canada for all we know, and then it's just this hopeless clusterfuck, because there's no dedicated servers. And so well over half the time, if you're playing in a party, even 2 or 3, it gets to the point where the matches are just super laggy all the time, because it's connecting you with people from halfway across the fucking earth, because it's the only people they can find that are within your party's skill set. And so it becomes unplayable almost, And, say we lose to this party from Japan, and I'm a sore loser. I'll be upfront about that. I fucking hate losing. And so I just can't help but think, oh, we would have won that match if not for the lag, and that by itself makes me a million times angrier than if we had just lost fair and square. So no, I don't play in parties anymore, and the point I was trying to make before I went off on this intense tangent was that what I suffer from a lot nowadays is joining these sessions in progress on the losing team where the bad guys have lodestars in the air, and I'm the only guy on the team that I just joined, and I'm getting killed by score streaks that were earned on other players. There's no plausible path to victory, and I'm like, God damn it, and I get put in these matches probably more than most people, because I play by myself, which increases your chance of joining a session in progress like 10,000%, and because I have decent stats, it wants to put me with those strong players who typically manufacture these fucked up matches. And those players will always be there because they love to jerk each other off and abuse the power of an invincible party. If everyone ran low streaks, this game would be a lot more fun, but it's just a frustrating thing that could be easily solved with the mercy rule. I love you all. This is Batman signing out, bitches.